What's going on, guys? Today, we are playing Better MC. So it's pretty much in the name. It is a better version of Minecraft. We are going to see if we can survive this on our own, with absolutely gorgeous views and terrain, tons of new animals and mobs, and even mobs I can't even explain. Volcanoes, and look at this. I even found this Coliseum. And inside, giant phantom on fire with a skeleton riding it. Like, what is that? And I found SpongeBob's Island. I really hope you guys enjoy, and please consider leaving a like or a comment. It would mean the world to me. Anyways, let's get started on this solo adventure. And as soon as I spawn in, my computer was struggling right off the bat. So I did my computer a favor, and then I noticed this huge cave, and there was a mine shaft at the bottom of it. I knew I wanted to get down there. I made some wooden tools, and I started to get some stone so that I could make some stone tools. And I saw some coal behind me, and I knew I wanted that. So I started getting some more stone, and then once I got down there, I immediately noticed how dark the cave was, and I was terrified. I got a little closer, and I was even more terrified as I got shot by a skeleton. I decided to flee off towards the mine shaft because it looked a little bit more friendly than this huge cave here. So I started exploring the mine shaft, and I quickly realized that there was nothing. No chests. Only furnaces full of coal. And then I realized that I had no food. But for some reason, I just kept going. Kept exploring. Which I absolutely should not have done. I should have gotten out of there. Because I ran into a bunch of skeletons, and then I found myself very close to death. And I had to kill these guys very strategically, because I was at 2 hearts. 2 hearts! But I ended up finding a stronghold with food. So I was okay. But I was ready to leave. I had enough of this danger. But on my way out, I found these zombies with mining helmets and pickaxes. And they almost killed me. But, miraculously, I was able to kill them. And they dropped very good loot. In fact, the one guy dropped diamonds. And I like diamonds, especially this early in the game. I think I had 3. Enough for a pickaxe. I decided to try and get some more ores. So I went around trying to find some ores. I found some iron and some silver. But I ran into some more zombies, and I almost died for a 3rd time. But I saw a spawner. I approached it with caution, and then I realized there were no mobs. And then I realized it was a parrot spawner. Probably the most friendly spawner I've ever found. But the loot was actually very good at this parrot spawner. Not to mention the emeralds, of course. Those are pretty good to find, especially this early. But I decided to make some gear, and then I noticed all the parrots going crazy for something. I walked over to it, and it was like a little goblin. And then he looked familiar, and then I realized he was a trader. And I was able to get cooked iron for raw iron. And then I was also able to get cooked gold for raw gold, which was a steal. So I did that instead of smelting. Anyways, I said goodbye to the parrots, and I got myself out of the cave. When I previously spawned, I was completely unaware how beautiful the biome was that I spawned in. I could not get over it. But I needed food, so I killed some cows, and I cooked it, and I ate it. Anyways, I packed up my stuff and I went exploring, and then I came across this mushroom-looking structure pretty quickly. It didn't look like anyone was home, so I decided to light it up and take a look. And there really wasn't much loot until I went upstairs. And there was these cow people, and they were not friendly. They tried to kill me, and they were pretty strong. But the first one that I killed dropped, as you saw there, the weird rock. And there ended up being a spawner upstairs. So I broke it, and the loot in the chest was honestly pretty good. Knockback 1 sword, I'll take that. And I decided to light up the whole place and make it my own. It looked like a pretty nice structure. It had just about everything I would need. I made a quick makeshift front door so that mobs couldn't get me. And I slept that night thinking I've had a great start so far. The next morning I went ahead and put some of my good stuff away because I knew I wanted to go exploring again. I didn't know where I wanted to go or what I wanted to do, but I kind of just wanted to scope out my surroundings. And then I came across this little outpost, it looked like, but luckily these guys were very easy to kill, and I was able to take it over pretty quickly. The loot was horrible, but there was a lot of hay, which is great for food, so I took all that. And then I decided to continue on my way, and then I came across this really weird mob thing. I honestly have no explanation for it. It looks hilarious, but I kept on my way, and I came across a village. This village looked pretty sick, and it had absolutely decked out villagers. There was all kinds of new structures, and as far as loot goes, there wasn't much, but I didn't want to take too much, honestly, because I wasn't sure if the villagers were going to get mad at me. So I just took a little bit of food, and then I was on my way. I found some horses on my way back, and I realized I had a saddle, so I decided to try and tame a horse, and I found one that was pretty quick. This guy took a little bit to like me, but I decided to go check out this structure on the coast right by the village. And I forgot how annoying it is to get horses across water. But I got into the structure, and it looked like a witch hut. But it didn't look like there were any witches around. Just a cat. And the loot wasn't bad. There was some decent potions, but I honestly didn't really see myself needing any of these potions for a while. But anyway, I grabbed some, and then I was on my way, heading back home. And then the next morning I went to get some wood so I could make a pen for my horse, and this right here gave me the greatest jump scare, I think, so far on this world. But I made a pen for my horse, and then I went to go check out this dirt hut that I saw right next to my house. And then I noticed it looked kind of like an igloo from vanilla Minecraft, and it had a basement, just like one. I went down and checked it out, and it was the same layout. So I guess this is one of those basements, but there was no zombie, which is weird. But I came out, and then I found this weird rock structure. I couldn't really make anything of it, but I kind of just walked away, and then I realized I could make the map bigger. And almost immediately I noticed this huge castle structure towards the right of the map. And I pretty much in that moment, I knew I wanted to go there. But first, I wanted to make a little garden with some of the seeds I've found so far, because I had quite a few different kinds. And I wanted to start prepping, getting ready for this castle raid, and then I realized I could sit in chairs, or steps I should say, but I was sideways. But thought that was funny. I started making some proper storage, tried to do a little bit of organizing, and then I went to bed, and then I knew this was going to be the day that I started heading to the castle. I started making my way, and then I came across a snake, and I was immediately startled because snakes are typically dangerous, but this one was friendly, and he was really cool looking. I wonder if there's a way you can tame those, because that would be pretty neat. But I started making my way over, and then I found this structure. It looked like a huge ruin, and on the map I could see there were villagers inside. And there indeed were villagers in this ruin, and an iron golem. And as I looked around, it almost looked like a hidden training facility for villagers. And I think that's kind of what it was, because it was right by the castle, and it kind of would make sense. I hop back on my horse, and I start heading to the castle. I get right up to the cliff, and I am immediately just mind blown by the size of this castle. I get up a little closer, and I'm almost immediately attacked. Luckily, this archer guy was very easy to kill. I started to move in a little bit, and then I noticed on the map the amount of enemies was absurd. I had very little hope at being successful, but I didn't care. I wanted to get in there, and I wanted to see what it looked like. I slowly killed off these guys one by one, advancing my ground, pushing closer and closer, but terrified. I felt like I was making some progress, until I ran into this guy. This fully suited up pillager did so much damage to me. People were closing in on me. They were grouping up. I didn't know what to do. I had to run and heal. And then I noticed the guy was all by himself. So I pushed, and I was able to kill him. He didn't drop anything, but he was dead, and I was safe again. I started to make my push into the castle, and as I was breaking the wall, an iron golem comes out of nowhere and starts killing the pillagers for me. And it was very successful until I accidentally hit the iron golem. Silly me. Now he wants to kill me. But I knew if I could release him into the castle, he would focus on the pillagers and not me. And I was able to do it. Off he goes, unfortunately to his death. I pushed through in the walls, trying to explore and get a peek of what it looked like in here. And it looked like the corner that I was in, there wasn't too many enemies. And then the little iron golem started to help kill the enemies for me. Unfortunately, he proves to not be as strong as the bigger golems, and he dies. But it wasn't for nothing. His legacy will live on. I pushed my way into the castle, towards a chest, but I was snuck up on by a fully armored pillager. I had to retreat. And in this moment, I really was starting to realize that I was not going to be able to do this. But for some reason, I just kept pushing. I made it to the chest, and the loot in it was worth it. It was an Unbreaking 3 book, and a disc I had never seen. I released a couple more villagers. I don't really think I should have done this because they have no way of defending themselves, and they will probably perish. But I did it anyway. I continued to light up the castle, and then I realized I could get on the wall and attack from above, and it might help me take over this castle on my own. It wasn't until I got up high and really got a grasp at the amount of enemies in this castle. I waited all night to make my attack. The sun came up. I had a plan. I covered up the stairwells to get to this wall, so that I would at least be safe up here. There was a roof in the middle that I could jump on, that had iron golems in it. Without thinking, I leaped. I was on the roof, inside the castle, surrounded by enemies. I saw the iron golem. I got in and released him. I ended up finding a smart way to kill a lot of these guys. But it only worked for so long, until I shot an evoker. This proved to have been the dumbest thing that I have done on this attack. These guys are so hard to kill. Their hitboxes are the size of ants. I tried my best. I fought. And then at one heart, I tried to escape. But I couldn't do it. I was too nervous. And then I died. I felt defeated. I didn't think there was any way I was going to be able to get my stuff back, and I had absolutely nothing to help me get there. Not even my horse. But I went anyway, with absolutely nothing. No sword, no armor, no food. And I pushed until I saw the castle in the distance. My first attempt, I went straight through the front door. No plan, just ran right for my stuff. But I couldn't build properly, and I got absolutely slaughtered in seconds. My second attempt, however, I realized I could tower up the wall and enter the way I came in originally, because I had blocked off all the staircases, so I would be safe on the wall, and I could hop in the hole that I had made in the roof. So that's exactly what I did. And somehow, none of the enemies saw me, and I was able to sneak in and get all of my stuff back. Even from all of my XP. I didn't know that was a thing, and I immediately knew that I needed to get out of there. But not before killing a couple more enemies. So that's what I did, and I ran out the front door, being chased by a witch for a little bit, but I was proven to be faster, and I got away. I look back on the castle now, not feeling defeated, but feeling motivated. This castle will be mine. I will come back and slaughter every single one of those pillagers, and I will be victorious. I have a plan to take this castle.